Hello, friends. Today we're going to read this story called Harvesting Friends by Kathleen Contreras, illustrated by Gary Undercuffler. Okay, friends, so today we're going to be reading this story, Harvesting Friends. Lupe loved her family's salsa garden with its tomatoes, chili peppers, onions, garlic, and cilantro. Her mother cooked, roasted, chopped, and grinded everything together to make chunky salsa to eat with salty chips and tacos. Mm-mm. In the spring, Lupe and her family dug into the rich soil to plant the seeds and tiny plants. They wrote each plant's name on popsicle sticks. All summer, Lupe and her family watered, fed, and weeded the garden. Weeding means to take out all the unwanted plants that kind of grow up around the plants that you're trying to grow. And so we call that weeding when you take out those plants that are unwanted. But one summer day, all the big red tomatoes were gone. Lupe looked in between the branches, but no luck. The biggest, juiciest tomatoes had disappeared. That means they vanished. They were gone. Mama, the big tomatoes are gone. They were almost ready to be picked, Lupe said as she ran into the house. Are you sure? Said Mama as she hurried outside to investigate. Investigate means she went out to check into this situation carefully. She went to get the details. I wonder what happened, said Lupe, looking under the tangle of bushes. Lupe saw a small necklace with a gold medal on the ground. She picked it up and gave it to Mama. Who could have dropped it, Mama? She asked. I'm not sure, but I think someone left it here on purpose, Mama said, caressing the pretty medal. Caressing just means she was rubbing it, like rubbing it with her hand softly. 2 weeks later, when Lupe walked into the garden, she saw a boy crouching on his knees over the tomato plants. This is crouching. With a couple of big tomatoes beside him, he was reaching deep to pick the biggest one. What are you doing? Shouted Lupe, surprising him. He started to run, but tripped on the rake. He fell on the tomatoes and red juice splashed all over him. Wait! It's okay. I'm not going to hurt you. Lupe recognized Antonio, the new boy in school. Why are you taking our tomatoes? She asked. We don't have much money. The tomatoes look so good, and I left my gold necklace here in exchange for the tomatoes, he said. My grandmother gave it to me when we left Mexico. It's very valuable. I figured it would be a fair trade. Suddenly, Lupe had an idea. If you help me with the garden, I'll give back your necklace and some tomatoes. Deal? Deal, said Antonio, already picking up the rake, ready to work. Antonio started weeding, and Lupe went inside to tell her mother what had happened. Later, Mama invited Antonio to eat lunch, and she gave him some tomatoes and a jar of salsa to take home. She placed the jar in a bag and said, "Bread that is shared tastes better." "Mama, you forgot something," said Lupe, giving the necklace back to Antonio. "No, you keep it until the work is done," he said. Lupe and Antonio became friends over the summer. They weeded, watered, and picked tomatoes, onions, chilies, and cilantro. They even planted corn and lettuce. Their mothers also became friends and shared the garden's harvest. Almost 2 months later, the growing season ended. Lupe and Antonio composted the plants, leaves, and stems, recycling all the plant nutrients back into the soil. So, compost means to take what's left of the plants and put them back into the soil because they still have a lot of nutrients. So for the next time they go to plant, that the soil will be rich in nutrients. Lupe returned the gold necklace to Antonio, and he accepted it. Lupe had a great idea for next year's garden. "Let's ask our neighbors to help," said Lupe to her mother. "With everyone helping, it will be easier." When spring arrived, they invited their neighbors to pitch in. Dozens of families brought money and tools and started working. Lupe and Antonio bought seeds and small vegetable plants with the donations. A donation is something that is given. So people gave money, and so they took the money to go buy the seeds. With everyone's help, they finished planting in one day, whereas it would have taken them several days if they were doing it by themselves. So that's a good thing. Two months later, the tomatoes grew in all shapes, sizes, and colors. Some tomatoes were round, others oval and pear-shaped. There were yellow, orange, red, and even purple ones. Like a family, the community worked together, taking care of young plants. A pair of brothers planted two kinds of peppers, fire red and green. And grandmother and her grandchildren grew bunches of fragrant herbs for cooking and healing. A father grew watermelon, which his son made into cool watermelon juice. 3 sisters grew squash, beans, and corn, America's first crops. The garden, like a colorful Mexican blanket, embraced everyone who worked on it. The garden grew, and soon it became more than a place where hunger was fed. It became a gathering place, like a kitchen where everyone comes together to eat and share. They shared stories and offered gardening secrets. They even celebrated birthdays and special holidays. The new Amigos garden grew more than just plants. It grew friendships. And I hope you enjoyed this story of Harvesting Friends. It's a cute story about a community coming together to grow a garden, and they became a very close-knit community. So it's a very nice story. So don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button below. And if you want to get notified of any new videos, click the all notifications, and that will notify you whenever there's a new video posted. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.